Good morning. Today we're going to be looking at how to format quotes using the punctuation we've learned, and also we are going to practice writing a quote. So if we're looking at this essay, right here we have our first quote. So it begins with an introduction, so according to Dr. Hugh Davis, followed by a comma, are open quotations, and then the quote are closed quotations, and then a single space, open parentheses, our page number, close parentheses, followed by a period. It's important to note that the page number within the parentheses is inside the sentence, so the period goes after that. It's also important to note that your quotes should have some sort of an introduction, followed by a comma. So now that we know the basics of how to create a quote, let's look at this paper, let's pull a quote, and let's write one for ourselves. This paper was written by me, so let's start our quotation by saying, Christopher Mosier wrote, followed by our comma. And we don't really have an argument here, so it's fine to pick any sentence. Language aside, the novel's negative effects are far from being solved. So we're talking about Mark Twain. It's a perfectly good quote. So let's put this in here, add some quotes, and check what page this is on. This is on page 2. So put our 2 in parentheses, followed by our period. And this is how you make a basic quote. And of course, this quote should be somewhere in the middle of a paragraph. So let's write ourselves, alright, so once we have our basic quotation done, we want to move down to our works cited. We want this centered, and then we want to format our paragraph here with a hanging indent of 0.5. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need to do is add our author. So we have Mosier, Christopher, and then in quotes, because this is a single paper that would generally, you would find it in a peer-reviewed magazine. And then the date this was published, or written I suppose, so 15 February 2019. And we used the whole thing, so we're not going to add page numbers for this. And that is how you do a basic quotation within your paper and your works cited page.